Hey folks, did you know when due process of law entered American constitutional history? You want to know the day and the place? Some great people, Professor Eiffel, of course, here on Instagram. She's got this wonderful news center at Howard. And historian Jen on TikTok. They cover the broader context. They've got some great stuff. Go to them for recent stuff on that. But while working on details for my book for a section that involves the Bill of Rights for a resistance history of the United States, I thought you might want to know the exact moment, or at least the day and the place. It was July 10th, 1788, in Poughkeepsie, New York, where my wife used to be a newspaper reporter. Anyway, during the brutal fight over the Constitution at New York's ratifying convention, Alexander Hamilton and John Jay were doing everything that they could to carry out James Madison's orders. No changes to the Constitution, don't agree to anything, no protections for individual rights or liberties. The Constitution, as they wrote it, was good enough. And they were losing. Their opponents were handing their head to them. But I swear to God, I think it's a major history mystery that somebody should really look into. How someone didn't end up shooting Alexander Hamilton right there in Poughkeepsie. That he made it to 1804 is, I think, a minor miracle in American history. But Melancton Smith, who would have been one of those holding the weapon in 1788, and John Lansing, two names that you've probably never heard of, thought Hamilton and Jay were wrong. So when a committee was created to draft proposed amendments which the opponents of the Constitution needed to have before they would ever even think of ratifying the damn thing, they took the English concept, which was fairly well known: no freeman ought to be taken, imprisoned, or deceased of his freehold, or be exiled or deprived of his privileges, franchises, life, liberty, or property, but by the law of the land, and changed it. They replaced law of the land with due process of law. The term had only appeared once before, also in New York, a statute passed the year before, where Hamilton himself had said due process referred specifically to the courts, while law of the land could include, the legislature. Both terms came from English legal history, of course. This is the foundation of almost everything. But this was the moment New York and opponents of the Constitution planted due process of law into American constitutional DNA. John Lansing, a name you've probably never heard, made sure it was in the final ratifying document. And when Madison was forced to push through the Bill of Rights in the first federal Congress, New York's language, due process of law, was there in what today is the Fifth Amendment. All because the people fighting the hardest for individual rights weren't Hamilton or Madison or Jay, the ones who get musicals and t-shirts and whose homes you can visit. It was the other founders, the resistors, the opposition, the so-called anti-federalists, resisting every step of the way to protect the freedoms they thought the Revolutionary War had been fought for. So the next time you think about your right to due process and anyone else's, any other person's, not citizens', right to due process, remember John Lansing, a 34-year-old Revolutionary War veteran who also, by the way, never claimed another person as property. And he, by the way, mysteriously vanished from Manhattan in 1829. But he did leave you the Fifth Amendment. And the capital of Michigan. The more you know.